What is up, homies? Welcome back to a series of trailer reactions. We're going to be watching some trailers from the Super Bowl that came out today. We're not going to watch all of them. We're going to watch some of them. You can be mad at us about not watching 45 different commercials. We're going to watch the ones that I'm excited for. And also one of these, we have a little extra something to talk about. But we're going to watch the trailer for Project Hail Mary. Now, it is worth mentioning that Hector and I have already seen this trailer. We'll tell you why after we watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a pretty good reason. Pretty good reason.
I have not seen it, and it's for the reason that I didn't do the thing that Hector and Adam did. So, you know.
Wow, well said. I wonder if our audience is going to be able to crack that code. Okay, great.
I don't know.
Let's watch this trailer.
I don't know.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
I understand that you think I'm the right person for this mission.
What a hunk.
I understand the stakes.
Object approaching.
Whoa. What it is?
Nothing.
Terrifying.
Everything on this planet will go extinct, including us. Dr. Grace, the world is counting on you.
Ooh.
No, I'm sorry.
a little suavecito.
A little Bad Bunny.
A little Bad Bunny. Alien Bad Bunny.
I'm Grace. I'm gonna call you Rocky. We're here for the same reason. His son is dying too.
Damn.
If we're gonna save our planets, we have to learn how to communicate.
They got Prince going on in the background, okay?
We have about 250 words. Let's find you a voice.
Why is a school teacher in space?
No.
Why is a school teacher in space?
In space.
I am Rocky. I like.
So I have a new roommate now.
Hi, Grace.
Together, we're pretty smart. But no one's ever done this before.
It is time go.
I think you mean go time, pal.
Whoa. That looks cool.
So cool.
There are infinite possibilities for this to go wrong.
This ship wasn't built for this. Now!
If Grace Rocky saves stars, we can go
Wow.
home.
We can go home.
I think this is a one-way trip for me.
Oh, don't do that. Don't say that.
Oh, shit.
I will not let Grace die.
Whoa.
Dude.
Every time.
I don't know why that chokes me up. It chokes me up, you guys.
It's so good.
Wow.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That looks good. That looks
The way-
good, you guys.
Oh,
The
man.
way... Okay, Augustine, take us through it, brother. You haven't seen that trailer yet. What do you think?
I'm getting mad Iron Giant vibes. Like mad Iron Giant vibes. Like I'm getting choked up just, you know, seeing this friendship and potentially it going south and Ryan Gosling saying it's a one-way trip for me. I'm really hoping that Rocky does some kind of magician, turns into what's his name from Marvel? Who's the rock guy?
Korg.
Korg.
Yeah, I hope he turns into
Thing.
Korg. I hope,
Yeah.
the Thing. I really hope that like he finds his alien race and then they form a rocket ship around him and send him back to Earth. Like, I'm really hoping something
Brother.
goes well for him. I've already figured out a story in my brain. So
Yeah. Well,
That's amazing.
Adam and I know way more than you, but we also don't know anything because Adam
Yeah.
and I
Okay.
have not read the book that this is based on,
Mhm.
who is from the same author as the guy that wrote the book and then the movie The Martian.
Yeah,
Matt
Andy
Damon.
Weir.
I like The Martian.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so like,
And the script is
Adam-
also written by Drew Goddard, who also wrote The Martian, the adaptation.
Yes.
Okay.
There and it's directed by Lord and Miller, dude. There's a lot to love about this project. Adam and I got to go to IMAX headquarters and see about 30 minutes of sort of random scenes throughout the movie, not the whole context, but Lord and Miller were there, the directors, Chris Miller and Phil Lord, and they talked us through the story without giving us the full context, but enough to know sort of what was happening in each of these scenes.
Yeah.
Adam and I each made a video about that experience, but Augustine, I think you're right. I'm feeling it too. Like, this feels like a really special movie. And it shot up to the top of my list of like, I cannot wait to see this. It's coming out in March 20th. I cannot wait to see this. It, like, just hearing this character named Rocky, this alien, say, I could get emotional right now just thinking about it. I will not let Grace die. I was like, that. I'm a sucker for this kind of shit, and I get so romantic about this, but that is like, it's also why I love things like Star Trek or The Iron Giant. You clocked it on the head, dude. A story where like a person meets something larger than life, otherworldly, not from our world, and like a bond is formed. Brother, I'm there. Like, I'm already crying thinking about it. It's the best kind of movie. It's my favorite thing, you know? So like, these guys know what they're doing. So I cannot wait to see this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from, because I also, like you mentioned, I haven't read the book, but my biggest takeaway was definitely because it's very easy to go like cynical, right? Or go into it from the perspective of like, well, because they did say a big inspiration visually, at least, was the aesthetic of something like Alien. So you bring up a movie like Alien, that's very like protagonist antagonistic type of storytelling, which is the complete opposite of what this is. I think I didn't even think of the Iron Giant, and that I think is a really great reference point. Now we just got to think of like, what's his name? If it's the Iron Giant, what is he? The Rock Mini? The Rock Shorty? What's his nickname gonna be? We got to think of one. Yeah. But that was the thing that came off so strong in all the scenes that we watched, was that it is so heartfelt and so warm. Like it's this warm blanket that you're like, I never want these two to ever have to be in conflict, whether it's with each other or with the environment that they're in. And I just want them to be best friends. And I want Rocky to come to Earth, and I want Grace to go to Rocky's homeworld to visit. And come back, you know, like it's that kind of a. It just gives you that really great sense of exploration and adventure that feels kind of Spielbergian or Robert Zemeckis-y, like very much 80s kind of a vibe. And it's a beautiful looking movie. It's the cinematographer is Greg Fraser, who did the Batman, he did the Dune movies. And it sounds amazing. I know, Hector, like you leaned over to me and you were like, the score by Daniel Pemberton. It's so good.
Yes. I mean, I love this Prince song, but yes, like Adam's listing off all of the things that were so impressive about this film. And even to without giving too much away, like, it's not just Ryan Gosling and this creature. There are other human characters in the film. There is moments on Earth, and they told us the sort of ratio of that. And I don't want to say it now. I don't know. It's not something I want to spoil, but like, even the stuff that is involving this character who has to leave Earth for whatever this mission is, that stuff felt so like inspirational. Like you really feel like all of Earth is rooting for this guy to be able to do that kind of feeling. Is just like, it's my favorite kind of movie, dude. So yeah, good on you, Augustine, to clock the Iron Giant. And it's even made me and Adam go, oh shit, yeah, that too. Like, let's open it up. You're right.
I wish I would have caught that when we were talking to Lord and Miller.
Yeah. No. We should have brought that up. You weren't even there.
And you guys need me.
Always.
I also want to talk about the VFX in this. Like, I don't.
Oh yeah.
Marvel gets so much crap for like, they're VFX heavy, blah blah blah. This movie looks just as VFX heavy as any other big, huge project that you could see. Ryan Gosling is not floating in space, people, but it looks like he's fucking floating in space. There's not a single shot in here that made me question the VFX, and it all looks super crispy and clean and very well done. I don't know if it's true, but it feels like the VFX artist had the time to cook and create and like really settle this and make it feel very grounded.
Yeah.
And I'll also say, I talked a little bit about this in the video that I made for our socials. I have to post it on YouTube. I haven't done that yet. I will. But we were told, like, Rocky, there is a CG side to this character, but there's also puppetry. that brought this character to life on the set.
Yeah.
And Augustine, they hired a puppet performer named James Ortiz to perform the character as well as do the voice. That's James Ortiz's voice that you hear with the sort of robot voice that they land on in this trailer.
Yeah.
So I was, dude, you know how much we all love puppets, dude. Like practical effects, as much as great visual effects and computer generated effects. That makes me so excited because there were moments in the stuff we saw and in this trailer where it's like, that thing looks real because it's there.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's the very exciting thing. And shout out to James Ortiz for almost making me cry in a 2-minute trailer with one line, dude. Like, well done. Yeah. Well done. I cannot wait to see it.
Very well done.
Well, and I think also it really comes down to like intention, right? And the thing that I pointed out to Hector that I don't even think we realized in the moment, you know, this is Lord and Miller are so well known, obviously, across the industry, but I think a lot of times, sometimes we'll forget that they have not directed that much. Like most of their experience comes from producing and writing. Spider-Verse produced and written, you know, a lot of like other movies. This is the first movie they've directed since 22 Jump Street. Well, 22 Jump Street and Lego Movie came out the same year, but this is the first time in 12 years they're directing something. You know, the last time they were supposed to direct something was the Solo Star Wars movie, and then they got replaced by Ron Howard. So, and they've had, I was looking it up when I came home after the event. They've had so many projects in development. I think they've had like 7 or 8 projects over the course of the last like 7 years. One of them was another Andy Weir project. So I'm hoping that, you know, if this does, because like The Martian, I loved The Martian. I haven't also seen it in a really long time, but I think it'll hold up as well as it did when I first saw it in 2013. I really love that movie, and I'm hoping that like if these adaptations of Andy Weir's books continue to do really well, then I hope that like if they have another one lined up that they were already kind of developing, that they'll be able to just maybe it's not the next project that they do, but maybe in the next 5 years they'll do another one, because I think like intention says so much. You know, we're talking about how the sets look, how the lighting looks, the visual effects. You know, you have to really know what you're getting yourself into, and you have to have very clear direction to understand and know exactly what you want on screen. And even though I've looked at, you know, different versions of the trailer and some of the shots have updated or changed visual effects, the things that are like the principal parts of what they shot are the same. The lighting is the same. The way that the characters move, like they didn't go in and change anything. And I think sometimes there are other movies, you know, a lot of them are big franchise movies where unfortunately there sometimes can feel like there's a lot of changes being made, and I think that adds to a lot of like the negative narrative around those movies because we know it changes because we see it iterate through trailers and TV spots and stuff. So I think that's also really challenging. But I think, you know, a movie like this, when you have guys like this and they're taking on a project of this scale and scope, and you have the creative people that you've got, whether it's Daniel Pemberton or Greg Fraser or all the producers and the writers and the, you know, costume designers, production design, and the cast, you have to really go into it being very, very much knowing this is what I want. This is my vision. This is where we're filming. This is where the light's going to go. And here's how we're doing the visual effects. And that's really the only way that you can make something of real quality. Yeah. I mean, I know it's hard. It's like, it's very hard. Making movies like that is very hard, but the more intentional you are or the clearer vision you have, then it's going to be a little bit easier to make something that I feel like a lot of times those movies either like everyone loves them more than anything, and some people maybe it's not their vibe, but it's kind of rare that people hate them. You know, it's not as common. Like, how many people do you know who hate Indiana Jones? I don't know a single person.
I don't know a single person. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're watching this video, go away.
I will say I'm watching this video over and over again, and there are some things that he wrote down, like on the computer. He writes the word brave. And then while they're doing experiments and Ryan Gosling has safety goggles on, he drew safety goggles on the glass, you guys. I'm going to cry.
Dude, I'm already. Don't. Just don't. Just stop. I would die for Rocky. I would already die for Rocky, and I haven't even seen this movie. I would die for Rocky.
I know. My last little bit of info that I will tell people is that it's coming out on IMAX, and you should go see it in the biggest IMAX screen because we saw it in GT Laser, the dual laser IMAX, and it looks amazing. It's really good.
Killer.
Yeah. All right,
boys.
Next one.
Before we start crying, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, we're gonna watch the TV spot for Disclosure Day. We haven't watched the trailer. I should say I have watched the trailer since it's come out, so I have a little bit of context. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but it's a Spielberg movie. I'm in no matter what.
But it's a mysterious Spielberg movie, so I'm excited.
It is. All right, you guys ready?
So this is Bad Aliens, maybe. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. So maybe.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
We're interrupting our coverage. There has been a threat to publicly release government material long shrouded in secrecy.
Yeah, this is already spooky.
Are they people?
Oh, nice.
Do you think there could be others?
Whoa.
I'm sorry?
Right to know the truth.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world all at once.
Oh, shit.
If you do this, there's no undoing it.
Is that Colin Firth? I didn't recognize him. Whoa.
There will be no other day like tomorrow.
Holman. Oh my God.
Damn.
That looks pretty spooky.
Day.
That looks kind of terrifying.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
See,
it's the
very
opposite of
different
Rocky.
vibes. Very different vibes.
I'm all about
great
Steven
cast,
Spielberg. Yeah, I'm all about Steven Spielberg doing anything alien related.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done so many great things throughout his career.
Yeah. Like invented the genre, dude. He's amazing.
Yeah, more or less,
Yeah,
right?
essentially.
In so many ways, like reinvented it and did just so much amazing stuff for it. So, yeah, and I think I want to say, truthfully, like off the top of my head, I'm like trying to go through really quickly the Rolodex of Steven Spielberg stuff that's come out, and like, what's the most sci-fi thing he's done in the last like 10 years? I feel like most of the movies have been more drama based because he did West Side Story, he did well, Tintin's much older, but. Fablemans, Bridge of Spies. Like, I feel like most of the stuff he's done has a little bit been more grounded, sort of drama-esque. So for him to go back to his more science fiction-y, fantasy sort of roots, I'm excited for it. I mean, whatever your opinion is of Spielberg is fair. He's one of my favorite directors. He makes some of the most entertaining stuff I think I've ever seen in my life, even if it's a drama or a sci-fi film, or if it's Jurassic Park and Schindler's List back to back in 1993. It's pretty incredible the shit that he can make. So I'm all in on this one. And yeah, it's a great cast.
Yeah, it looks cool. If anything, Steven Spielberg is a king of. It's kind of what we were talking about in the last one, like this adventure or wonder or mystery or whatever. That's his bag. Like he's made people wonder about aliens for decades at this point, right? And for him to jump back into this genre and present some really cool stuff, it looks fun. Well, it doesn't look fun. It looks interesting. It looks mysterious. It looks a little bit creepy. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be a strong year for sci-fi outside of superhero stuff. You guys, it looks
so. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
worth mentioning that
like Spielberg.
10 years he's done 2 like sci-fi fantasy films. He did the BFG in 2016, and then he did Ready Player One, which was one I couldn't remember.
Yeah. And that one was I'm going to call it a live action / animation hybrid, because there's a bunch of CG animation in Ready Player One. But it really does. Here's a crazy thing that's going to make you feel old, is that his last sort of full-blown science fiction movie in a live action setting is War of the Worlds from 2005. That's an over 20 years old film.
Yeah. Adults grew up and went to the bar.
To me, in my head, I'm like, oh, War of the Worlds, that's like new Spielberg. That's like newer, like that's what I think of in my head.
I know. Minority Report, 2002, brother.
Stop, dude.
Yup.
Okay.
Oh man. Well, speaking of sci-fi fantasy, hot dog, hot diggity dog. We're gonna watch this 47-second spot for Supergirl. Cool. I don't know if this came out. I didn't watch the entire Super Bowl from covereth to covereth, but I don't know if this came out during the Super Bowl or if it came out earlier today, but whatever, either way.
Yeah, it says Super Bowl teaser trailer, not sure when it came out, but let's watch it and see what
I was too
James
busy
Gunn is
watching
cooking
Kid
here.
Rock like a true American. I was too busy watching Killy Riblet and Diggly Miblets and Cunny Gunderson and Kid Rock and all of those, my favorites, over on the Tapussa. So that's what I was doing. Y'all aren't patriots if you weren't. If you weren't watching that on the good old Tapussa, you're a bad American. All right, let's get into it, boys. Supergirl time.
Yeehaw! I feel like I need to throw my cowboy hat for that one.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, is he a puppy?
Crypto, baby,
Get
crypto.
out of here.
That's puppy Crypto. Yeah, because this is in the past
Oh,
when
goodness.
Krypton was still like unexploded.
Oh my goodness,
Stop.
you guys! I can't watch this. Oh,
Krypton didn't die in a day. The gods are not that kind.
Mm-hmm.
This is not gonna end
Wow.
well for you guys.
What's Superman like?
He sees the good in everyone,
Yep.
and I see the truth.
Damn, that's a banger
I see
line.
when someone
That's
needs
so
an
good.
absolute putazo. Augustine,
yeah, it looks
did
great,
you didn't watch the trailer for Supergirl with us, did you?
not with you guys.
Oh, what
No,
did
I'm
you
watching
think
on my
about,
own.
well, not only this spot, but that trailer itself?
Yeah, sure.
Some of those shots from the trailer were in here as well, right? Like,
Yeah.
except for
I
some of the
think so.
crypto stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think I think I remember seeing like those laser shots and the shot where she's like dragging that cable around. Look, I'm excited for this project. James Gunn.
Me too.
James Gunn set the table with Superman. I really feel like he's cooking something really good with this project, specifically with like, you know, the kind of jaded, not even jaded, but like a superhero with the chip on their shoulders. Once again, it's not necessarily about her powers. It's about the things she's been through and the things she's dealing with, and having that amazing little dog companion with her, I think, is going to be a super smart way to like put us through those emotions and really kind of feel for her. So I think the project looks great. Visually, it looks stunning. VFX look on point so far. And I think we have a new iconic super powered person in our midst. But I think that's what's going to happen with every superhero joint that James Gunn produces. So, you know,
I hope so.
I'm already giving him the benefit of the doubt.
It does already feel like, not just with like the casting of Jason Momoa as Lobo, who you could argue is who he should have played to begin with. Like the fact that a previous
he was born to
regime
be Lobo.
at Warner Brothers, right? That a previous regime at DC or Warner Brothers or whoever was trying to force Aquaman to be that cool. It's like, buddy, that's not Aquaman. This guy's Lobo.
Yeah.
On top of that, I think that already with Creature Commandos, with Superman, with Peacemaker Season 2, and with this, it really does feel like James Gunn and company are tapping into like, no, here's where the really special DC characters are. And if you're going to build out a universe and it should have the important pillar characters, the super family needs to be at the top of that list. And part of that is the Supergirl character. And it's not just a carbon copy. This is what makes her unique. This is what makes her interesting. And I've talked about it before. We've mentioned this. I think that the comic book Woman of Tomorrow is also such an incredible skeleton. And if they're building on that, and I'm not saying it's not an incomplete story, or I'm not saying it's an incomplete story, rather. I'm saying the comic book on its own is really brilliant. I love it. I think the writing is great, and I think the art is kind of even better. But I'm saying if they're really taking a film adaptation and building off of that, excellent structure to build off of. Some of the really great lines in this are lifted directly from that. You know, the Krypton didn't die in a day. The gods are not that kind. Lets you know everything you need to know about this character. And the Superman comparison, he sees the good in everybody. I see the truth. You can't argue with that. That's such a great character perspective. So it like each one of these projects has gotten me more and more excited to be like, okay, now I want to see DC Studios do their Batman. Because you know it's going to be that like, damn, you guys probably have a really good handle on the character. I want to see them do their The Flash. I cannot wait to see Lanterns this year. I want to see them do, you know, the Doom Patrol or Martian Manhunter or Aquaman again, or any of these characters that we may have seen before or might not have.
You know, all that good stuff.
Huge. She's one of the Trinity. She's one of the Trinity. So anyway, I think it looks great.
Yeah, and they also have a really James Gunn has done a really good job picking the right people to work on these projects, whether it's from like a writing perspective or a directing perspective. You know, like James Watkins is doing Clayface. As much as I would have loved for it to have been Mike Flanagan, you know, he's tied up with other projects. But I love the fact that they leaned into that project the way that they are, it being a horror movie and it being a little bit more different from what we were used to seeing in so far. Well, I guess it's not so different from what we're used to seeing in this era because we've already had Creature Commandos and Peacemaker. But I would say generally from most DC properties, the way that they've kind of sometimes tended to lean a little bit more towards younger. And when I say younger, I mean like 13 and under. But now having projects that can be that, but also 17 plus, right in the middle between 13 and 17, I think that's really cool. And I think having Supergirl being one of the first projects out the gate, you know, I know that's not how necessarily they announced it. It was much further down the line, it felt like, when they announced it. But to bring it up because they had something really ready and they were confident in it. And also because they're adapting, it might be, I think we talked about it, I think Hector and I talked about it in the trailer reaction, it might be, so far from what we've seen at least, like one of the truest comic book adaptations for the first time in maybe a long time, because it really, like, you flip through the page and then you watch the trailer, you're like, a lot of that stuff is really in here. Like, it seems like they're using a lot of that material, so that's really cool. But then, you know, for this movie, getting Craig Gillespie, who, you know, he did I, Tonya, he did Cruella, he did Lars and the Real Girl with Ryan Gosling. Like, he has a really great directing background, so it just gives you that confidence that they're trying to get these directors who, even if they maybe don't know the characters or the comics really, really well, James Gunn must be doing a good job, which is what we say needs to be done with a lot of these projects, and you need to pitch it correctly to the director. So the director knows what the movie needs to be. And if the director's interested, I would assume, like, yeah, I'm going to read the material that I need to read, whether it's Woman of Tomorrow or whatever else it is, and bring that to set and in the creative meetings. So I think it looks really, really good. And it just feels good. And I know I say this all the time, but I feel like I have to reiterate it every time a new DC trailer comes out. I'm just so happy to see DC so far having the success that they've been having over the last, you know, like 4 or 5 years. You know, there were things in the previous era that were little like glimmers of things that I really loved. I did really like the first Aquaman. I really liked the first Shazam and a few other things here and there like Wonder Woman. But now it's nice to see like a consistent streak so far where it's like, okay, everything they've done so far has been a banger, whether it's animation, television, or film. So it gives me great confidence moving forward to see what else they do. So
I think James Gunn has a great eye for picking people, a great sense of, even though, like, picking people who, even though they might not be familiar with superheroes and not have lived that life, which, you know, obviously everybody has a different life. But I think he has a really discerning eye for somebody who can get to the heart of a character, any character, whatever project they're working on. Like, really understanding, besides the superhero, besides the years of legacy content that they've been around or whatever, like, can you empathize with somebody? And can you understand and tell their story? And I think that's where James Gunn excels. He himself did that. And I think he can pick people who can also do that. And I think that's really important when you're directing something, is like empathizing with the character who's going through something and understanding them, and then putting that on film is super important, regardless if they're, you know, if it's a drama movie, if it's a superhero movie, if it's a comedy, like whatever, which is part of the reason why I think comedians can really, or always usually excel when they come to directing things or acting in things that aren't necessarily comedy. Like, they're very empathetic people because they can see things and understand things in a different way and step into somebody else's shoes. So, and if that happens with these projects, I think this is going to be a good one.
Speaking of all of that, Augustine, to just to emphasize again the team that like Gunn and company are amassing. The writer of Supergirl, it's not Craig Gillespie and it's not James Gunn, but it is the writer who did the screenplay and sort of the process of adaptation of the original comic is a writer named Anna Nogueira. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but Anna Nogueira, actor, and also now writing and working on screenplays. But to carry that through is also working with DC Studios on a potential Teen Titans film and an untitled Wonder Woman film. So that also makes me so excited to know that this writer's coming in, has this take on Supergirl, is, I'm sure, working with all the different sources, the comic book, you know, the original comic writer,
Writing
Tom
team.
King, James Gunn, like DC Studios, all that feedback, but being able to produce this screenplay and then them going, great, Teen Titans, let's get you on it. Great, Wonder Woman, let's get you on it. That's so exciting and makes me so excited as a DC fan to know that this writer is working on multiple of these projects.
And they've got a couple of those.
So.
They've also got, I think, Tom King in there doing some, I don't know how much he's necessarily like writing, but he's definitely helping, you know, sort of craft what the world is going to be. But then you also have Christina Hodson, who's been around DC since, I think, Birds of Prey for a long time now, for like 10 years
wrote,
almost.
I think, Bumblebee, I believe, which is my favorite Transformers film. I love Bumblebee. Love it.
So, you know, it feels good to know that they've got players in there who have been around the material for a long time, or if they haven't been around the material for a long time, they love the material enough that what they're writing is really impressing the creative team. So why not just let them stay on as writers? Like, do I necessarily care if every script is written by the same 3 people? Not necessarily, as long as those writers understand that the tones and the characters are different and they need to be mixed up, you know, and then the directors can really bring in their own dynamic to make them feel even more unique on top of that.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, Adam, because it's like, it's like they have a Swamp Thing screenplay from James Mangold, and that's a completely different character and a completely different vibe than the more hopeful Supergirl or the Teen Titans or Wonder Woman. Those 3 projects I feel like might be more related in terms of tone and in terms of like inspiration and the feelings you get versus there's a lot of corners of the DC universe. I don't necessarily want to be the person who's working on a Teen Titans movie also write like a John Constantine movie or a Zatanna movie.
Trigger the demon.
You know, like Justice League Dark. Like those are different things. So this all feels like
Guillermo del Toro.
This good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That's it. Get the Guillermo.
That's all you need.
Come on.
That's all you need.
And James, you need us to write a Booster Gold movie. Hire the 3 of us, James.
We'll cast it for you for free.
Yeah, we got it.
We got a guy for you. We got a guy for you. That'll be perfect.
We got it.
Yeah, absolutely. But guys, of course, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Out of all 3 of these projects, do you have a favorite? Are you excited for all of them equally? I definitely am. But Project Hail Mary being the closest one that's coming out soon.
I'm so excited.
Oh my God. Day 1, biggest IMAX screen with the biggest tub of popcorn and the biggest fucking smile on my face. Gonna be incredible. But let us know. Check out everything else we're watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Heroes Reforged is gonna react. Heroes Reforged is gonna review. Heroes Reforged is gonna discuss. That's why we are watching.